That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Cody Collins is on That's a Gay-Ass Podcast, and he is a hot ginge I first followed on Twitter.com under the handle Coco Rockstar. Cody, tell me, because I'm a gay journalist, I'm going to ask you an immediate hard-hitting question. Your Instagram bio says, I've got a good heart, but this mouth, ... Cody, what that mouth do?
It talks, and it talks trash. It talks all kinds. She's just a mouthy Southern boy.
Oh, she's a mouthy Southern boy. Is that, what part of the South are you from?
Fag, from Atlanta, Georgia.
And my faggy husband is also from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, we
So
love
shout
Atlanta
out.
boys.
Can we find out, are you ITP or OTP? What neighborhood, what part of Atlanta are you from?
Honestly, OTP.
Sure.
But, like, it's like 20 minutes like from the city. I feel like I'm close enough to say I'm from Atlanta. I'm like near Six Flags, and
Sure.
and during the pandemic I moved back to the actual city for about like a year and a half. So I was actually in Atlanta proper.
Okay, so then I already have so many follow-ups. So would you say, first of all, before I get into the upbringing of it all, when I use the word slut, which is a word that we say as a compliment, as something we celebrate, do you identify with the word slut, or is it something that you are not aligned with?
Sometimes.
Ooh. Okay,
Sometimes.
so then follow-up question. When you were in Atlanta during the pandemic and the world started to open up, did you find that your like dating or slutty life was different in Atlanta versus your life living in New York City?
Well, I did date in Atlanta, and I had a relationship, and then I think that opened up to me like being a little bit more slutty, and then moving back to New York is when everything hit the fan, and I was like, gung-ho, let's go.
You embraced the slut life.
I embraced it. I'm like, like ebbs and flows. Like, I'm like in my like lower chill area. Like, I haven't done anything in the last like 3 months, like 4 months.
Which is interesting to me because my research tells me on May 3rd, you tweeted, I want to be naked in a pool swimming with cute boys. Cody, has this summer been full of any naked pool swims, or are we still searching?
No, we're still searching. I can put my wants out there, but like if I'm not gonna go and meet myself at my wants, I'm not gonna get it,
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? But if you're in a bit of a lull right now, is that because you're sort of enjoying friendship, or is it that you would like more horniness and it's just not happening?
It is the friendships. I'm like so in love with all my friends. The platonic love like overflows. I sacrifice, like, I want to go hang out with my friends. I don't want to go meet up with this boy. I don't want to, it's very much that time of my life. And that's okay. Cause, a couple years ago, I was ditching the friends to go to the parties and go to the little group meetups and like whatnot. But, I did it. I feel like I've kind of scratched that itch for a little while.
Is then the signs are pointing to you are currently single. Is that correct?
Yes, very single.
And seems very happily so. You're just sort of enjoying your summer and your time with friends.
Well, I attempt dating every now and then. And sometimes it's like I'll like jump into bed with them like too soon, and then I won't hear from them. And then I decide to like, let me take it slow. Let me tell them to take it slow. And then I don't hear from them. So it's like, all right, let's readjust. Let's recalibrate. And that's kind of, I'm in my recalibration right now.
Okay, well,
and
then
that's okay, and I feel great about it.
Oh yeah, that's okay. It's so interesting, the rules of dating. I think you're landing on something funny, which is that the old like heteronormative version of things is don't fuck on the first or second date because then you're giving it all away. But like we as gay people have kind of a different set of rules in a good way. If you could write the rules for yourself, if you were to plan out like an ideal dating situation that turns into the type of relationship you want, does it start with an early hookup? Would you prefer for the hookup to come later on? What sounds good to you personally?
I think that I like it a little bit later. I love the build up. I love like going on walks. I like like a date or a dinner, like maybe you sleep over or maybe you stay late and you're like a little kissy touchy and you're like exploring, and then like you just like let it build up, and then the passion kind of like takes a hold.
Yeah, and then by the
I think
time it
that's
actually the full home run hits, it's like
like
fireworks.
it feels good.
And we
But
just got
yeah,
for the people watching on YouTube or on Substack, we just got a good pit
this is where we
look.
cut to the Substack,
We
the pictures.
well, actually, there's I'm gonna leave my horniest, dirtiest questions for the back half, so we can really
Very
give the
good, very
Substack
good.
early something to wait for. But before we get to that, I want to go into origin stories here. So
Yes.
you clearly are someone who has a great sense of what you want. When you want to be slutty, you are. When you're not, you're not. Were you always able to do that, or were you sort of a late bloomer coming from Georgia and then embracing your full gay self? How did you come to be the queen you are today?
Let's see. In my 20s, I started really like kind of like going for it. Because I've been in New York for about 10 years, and in
And you're
my 20s,
35, is that correct?
that's correct. And so I think one thing with Twitter is it makes everyone looks like they're having sex, right? Or they're
It
like
does.
so active. And then at some point you're like, I want this for myself. I want to do that. I want to lick, this, that, and the other. Like, but I don't know. I felt like I was doing it for the principle of it and the fact that everybody else was doing it. I was like, well, I need to have a boy in my bed every 2 days and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. And I felt like it wasn't authentic sluttiness. It was very performative sluttiness, like to say I did that
Yes.
too. And,
Yes.
and then in my 30s, coming back from Atlanta, it was for myself. It was like, okay, just do it, try it, see if you like it, find out what you're good at, find out what you're not so good at, and then I kind of really like hit the ground running. Like I said, back in like 2022 when I moved back to the city. By 2024 and hitting 34, and I was like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah, Effie, I'm tired. Did you come out while you were living in Atlanta as a young person, or did you wait till you left?
I came out twice. The first one didn't really stick. So,
Say more. What does that mean?
well, back when like Facebook was a lot more heavily used, my aunt said that she saw some gay stuff on my Facebook and sent a phone call to my mom and like told her, and then my mom called me up and I just started busting crying out like just like I'm sorry like all this like, and I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
looking back, I'm like I was a child and I was like there's no need to apologize, and we never talked about it. And then a few years later I had this just like gay bar experience where I was like, man, I need to be I need to be open. I need to be and living in my truth. And I sent a drunken text to my mom. I'm like, call me. And so the next morning she called me and I was like a little hungover and I'm like, hey, what's up? She's like, you wanted to talk to me about something? I was like, yeah, I did. And so I like came out to her again and slowly like trickling through my family. Like everybody knew and like most of my nieces know. And it's nice. It's freeing.
How old were
It's,
you when that gay bar moment happened?
I was about 27, I think.
27. And then
hmm
that first Facebook moment, do you remember how old you are when that happened?
I was probably 21, 22.
And so interesting. So
I was in
basically,
college.
yeah, you were obviously bursting at the seams to like be who you really were, but I think would you say that the crying that happened when the first Facebook intervention happened, we'll call it, was that out of just like the shame that the world and Georgia was giving you?
Oh,
And
it
when
was a lot of shame.
yeah, and what was the response when you kind of apologized to your mom? Do you remember how she responded?
Yes. So, I mean, it was a time where like this is still obviously a problem, but making the news, a lot of like gay and queer suicide was
Oh
happening,
yeah.
and I think she freaked out because she was like, I don't want you to ever feel like you have to hurt yourself
Mm.
or anything like that, and that was her response. And I just like she just didn't touch on it anymore, and so it was receptive, and she was like, we'll talk about it more, and then we just never did. And so we kind of played dumb and be like, I never had this phone call with you, so remember.
But you know what? That's in a way I give so many props to your mom because I think what she was doing was letting you know that she loves you and that all she wants is for your health and happiness and safety. And I think that it's very easy to then pretend these conversations never happen because that's just like the less difficult way of living. And so it's sort of I'm kind of glad you took the time you needed
I
and
did,
then
and
had your gay
thankfully,
bar moment.
New York just really does that. And like sometimes you forget, like years go by, and you're like, I'm not out to my parents because I'm living my best life. You surrounded by so many queer adventures and queer friends, and like you
Yeah.
forget that, like, oh my god, I have this whole life in Atlanta that I still have, and I'm like, and sometimes you just have to like, you had to tone it down or you had to turn it off, and like, I was
Girl,
done with making the flip.
and that's what making the flip is such a good way of putting it because I have found an interesting part of getting older is realizing how different the flip can feel and then
Mm-hmm.
trying to reckon with the fact that we're allowed to be different with our friends and our like outside lives than we are with our
Mm-hmm.
families, but like how different do we want that to be? That's the
Right.
question that I find to be interesting because have you ever brought a boyfriend home to meet your family?
No, and it's funny because I had a boyfriend in Atlanta when I lived there, and he had come over to my house, but my parents weren't there, and we had like a full night, and I was living my kind of like my high school dream of like having a boy over and like having a
Yeah.
bonfire in the back and drinking whiskey and being flirty around my old
Uh,
house
uh,
and getting laid in my childhood bed. Like it was like all
yes.
this like great stuff, but no offense to the person, but like I just didn't see that person meeting my family yet, you know.
So, well, look, now I'm turning into a therapist, but can we dig into like what type of person do you want to bring to your family? Have you
I
thought about
mean,
that?
no, not really. I think about that too often now, and now I'm like, now it's actually
Oh,
like, let's find someone for me, and then the family will have to adjust.
amen to that. Amen to that. You know, it's I don't know how you, if you have any single gay friends who are like really vying for a relationship, but I definitely do because I think dating is such a hard thing, and I think that a lot of us put up an impossible high bar
Mm-hmm.
for our partner as maybe a way of like self-preservation and I compare dating to finding a New York City apartment.
Yeah.
And by that I mean you have a whole wish list. But when it comes down to it, it's impossible to get everything you want. And so you're going to move into an apartment that maybe it has a great location, but there's
Uh-huh.
no washer dryer in unit.
Oh, but I'm,
Or
I'm
the
such a.
primary bedroom is a great size, but it's a
Uh,
fifth floor walk up. And I'm not saying that like my husband when I met him, he was a Catholic from Georgia, and I did not think I was going to be. I'm a Jew from St. Louis who had
mm-hmm.
like thought I was going to marry a Jew and thought I was going to have blah 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 blah. And when I first met him, my friend's like, "So, what do you think?" And I was like, "I think he's amazing. He's so hot, but I have no idea what's going to happen. And so we're just going to
Yeah.
see where it goes." And I think that was actually a helpful way to look at it. And that's like, I think how a good way of being single is like when you do date, try not to get ahead of ourselves because it's so easy to, look at the
Absolutely.
list.
It's a picture. Yeah. Also, I'm like, with this apartment, I'm like, just get approved. Just get approved. Like,
Oh my God.
so I'm like, it must be nice. It must be nice to
But
shop around.
you're a catch, right?
Sometimes
Well,
it comes and goes. I'm like, Karen, dang, something's wrong with me. What's going on with me? Am I a weirdo or like? And then
no
other
way.
days, I'm like, who would not want to date this? Like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
That's tale as old as time, though. I mean, I deal with that on a daily basis. Like, do I like myself? Am I a piece of shit? No, I think I'm
Hmm.
actually that girl. Oh wait, no, do I deserve happiness? It's such a,
It's
it's such a,
weird.
um, I'm gonna ask you to tell me one of your horny stories or dating stories in a minute, but before I do that, there's another
Yes.
tweet I wanted to ask you about.
Oh
And
my
the tweet
goodness.
is you said there are so many hot guys on the L train. Question. I've always had a fantasy of like meeting someone either on a subway or a grocery store. Have you ever hooked up with a subway hottie that you met on the train or an IRL meet cute that you brought home?
No. I have come dangerously close. Like sometimes, like when you're riding the train home, after like maybe a long night, and there's like another guy that you can tell is a little drunk, and then you're a little drunk, and then like you think it's, and then they just get off the train, and I'm like, okay, well, that's adios. But I do like the idea of cruising on trains. Like it seems fun. Like that's why I
Same.
got my like little book out, my little comics or like something.
And then you
'Cause
have
I
the
also
tension
wanna,
of the eye contact.
yes, I also want to appear attractive on the train, like so much, like, but I do like the idea of the L train specifically because there are so many hot Brooklyn boys.
God,
They're
I'll
all
tell
so
you.
pretty.
Brooklyn boys, Matt and I both agree. Whenever we go visit, when we were living there and we would go to Brooklyn, it would be like, what is in the goddamn water?
Yes.
Can you
That,
describe to me what a really hot Brooklyn boy that you're drawn to on the train looks like? What are some of
let's
the
see.
qualities?
I mean, the mustache is
Mm,
really hitting
yes.
right now. Maybe like a little arm tattoo sticking
Ooh.
out, like a little low cut button shirt with a little
Ooh.
chest hair.
Ooh.
Maybe a little bit more baggy clothes than I would have picked out for myself, but
Sure.
um, just cool. Maybe like a fun little nose piercing or ear
Mm,
piercing.
yeah. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Well, let's then get into the question I ask my gorgeous guests on this series. Are there
Yes.
any memorable moments in your life that stem from a hookup, a dating that were either super sexy, super embarrassing, super formative, any type of memorable thing that pops up in your psyche?
Let's see. When I came back to New York City, I will say when I hit the ground running, kind of going into the sex scene, I will say I went to a few group parties with people that I knew, and I was one of the few tops in the situation, so I was, very popular in the parties, and I was, turned into a little belle of the ball. And I
Yes.
was like, it really boosted my confidence and my ego a lot. And then like everybody like from the like little gatherings were like, "Can I get your Instagram? Can I get you? Let's hang out soon." Like I was like, "Yes."
So is it true that bottoms are everywhere and tops are harder to find in New York? Is that your experience?
From my parties, yes, but I will say there's a strong, heavy portion of verse people.
Oh, sure. Do you lean what percentage top do you lean?
Like,
For the rest of this interview, head to Substack, linked in the description. You can also watch bonus episodes with Mikey Graceffa from Death Becomes Her, Isaiah Rutledge, Sunset Boulevard's G-Min Moon. We have Derek Cage, Patrick, Nick, Thanos, Mark. They're all hot. The stories are amazing, and you should go check it out at substack.com/@EricWills, linked in the description. I love you. Bye.